Welcome to the top 10 list, which this week is probably not gonna be a top 10 list. But what it does have is not just me doing another solo top 10 list, which I'm sure you're all sick of. No, we've got Francesca back once again.
Hey,
Thanks for being here.
No problem.
So I thought it would be fun to do a first draft. We'll return to this in a year or whatever. And talk about some of the things that have surprised you about giving birth, having given birth. You got a child now. I know that you've done a lot of research and everything, but it's now been a couple of months. So how's it going? What are some things that stand out to you?
Thank you for asking. Oh wow, so much. Top 10 reasons to not have a baby. I'm kidding. No, it's been a lot, and it's been surprising that I didn't prepare a lot for the after part, like the part where you actually have the kid. Like we set up the nursery and everything and all that, but I was very focused on like having a good, smooth birth, and all told, it was fairly smooth. I feel really lucky. But then the newborn thing is no joke. They are real hard. They are real fussy. They cannot use their words because they don't have no words. They don't even have neck muscles. So it's been.
Get them in the gym.
Exactly.
You just gotta grind.
Work them out, bro. No, that's exactly right. I wish. Put a little like, I don't know, something around their necks that could work it out. I don't know what that would be, but yeah, no, I think all parents go through this, and I think it's incredibly boring if you're not a parent to understand, but yet you were once a baby. Everyone who's listening to this was once a baby. We were as helpless and ridiculous and like farty and pukey as my kid is.
Recently.
Yeah. Maybe even recently. Yeah. For sure, I think a couple things that have been surprising are like how so I've been bitching about the fact that having a kid is so expensive, like birthing a kid is so expensive that even when you pay out of pocket, like I do for health insurance, that you're gonna still get a bill. Like you're gonna still get a really big bill. Like I don't have any deductible, and I got like a $3,500 bill, $300 for the epidural, which is like the pain relief, even though I already pay for it, and so. Yeah. That's incredibly expensive. Who can afford that? And then someone told me in my comments on Instagram, they were like, "Oh, my sister just had a baby in Europe, 45 euro. 45 euro, they said, to have the baby in the hospital, and then they had to pay for parking." So,
well, if they have to pay for parking, then I guess it's all the same. I mean,
yeah, the parking's probably
45 euro is like what I paid to adopt my dog from the Humane Society.
Right.
So, dog, baby, that's similar.
Exactly.
Yours was slightly more.
No,
they should at least give you a few of the epidurals free. So exactly. Like if you're not getting enough sleep, you just pop it in there.
Give me one, yeah, take home with me and just be like, yes, I feel nothing. No, but that's exactly right. It's just that we say this country doesn't care about pregnant people. We say this country doesn't care about babies, but then once you're actually in it and you're living it, you're like, no, we truly don't give a rat's behind. Like this is truly one of the worst places to have a kid, and that's sad. And this is in a country where half of the political, machinery talks about family values and doesn't want women to have the choice whether they bear life or not, right? Like they want to force parenthood on everyone. And yet they want to provide nothing for them. So that's the other thing is like, I'm like, man, there's other countries that are like, they give you like a box because you need all this gear. You need your swaddles to swaddle them. You need like, your special bassinet. You need, all the different, bells and whistles for babies that, by the way, we didn't have because we were tough and babies now are soft. I'm definitely. This is gonna be my stand-up special. Babies are soft.
They don't make babies like they used to.
They really don't, dude. They are so helpless. Like we came out the womb just straight up doing burpees.
I was riding a bicycle actually, and I did a sick jump off the edge of the bed.
I didn't just like get burped. I did burpees. But yeah, like in other countries, European countries, they provide you that kind of stuff, and it is also very expensive. I feel lucky we got like hand-me-downs, but like lots of that crap is just, where do you get it from? Where are you gonna find your thing? So there's that. There's also like, I think that's surprising, but then there's also the like, speaking of babies are soft, the way we treat babies now is insane. We're like, everything can kill them because one baby died with one thing, and suddenly we all have to freak out, and all the things that help my baby sleep have been recalled, right? So, and you're not allowed to, they're like, okay, you can't sleep with any blankets or stuffed animals, right? You have to be on like a flat surface. In fact, maybe nothing too soft. Make it a wood. You sleep on a wood plank, but on your back. So duct tape a child to a wood plank.
Well, hold on.
And it needs to sleep very soundly.
I am actually surprised by this because as a person who has not had a kid yet, when I got to meet your wonderful new baby,
yay,
I was terrified that you at one point put the baby on a blanket on the ground, and I thought, I'm going to fall on the baby, and that's it for the baby. I'm gonna trip and crush it like a big dumb oaf. So are you saying that you were not terrified every second of holding it that you would drop it, or that a bird would fly through the window and carry it off? Like, they do seem like the most fragile things ever.
That would be really funny if a bird carried it off.
No, it would not.
They are fragile. I guess I feel like I would catch it if it started to fall, because babies are trying to die all the time. They're super top heavy. They're just heads, and they're all just like yeah. So again, it is definitely scary. But for some reason in my arms, I'm like, I'll catch it on the rebound. You know what I mean? I'll like.
Like the first bounce.
The first bounce.
If you get off the first bounce, it's okay. The brain damage sets in on the second and third bounce, as everyone knows.
Well, they still have this like soft spot right here that isn't formed. So you're like, that's your brain right there. Like there's like right where you want to kiss it, right where you kind of kiss it right here. It's like super soft, very funny.
If you kiss it hard enough, it makes them think things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, there's the development is really fast. And so like, I didn't think I would like miss something that she did a couple weeks ago. But one thing that's really funny is that babies, they try to root when they're hungry. They need to find the nipple, so they're like ah. When she was really little, they do like, they're just like they look like crazy people. They just go ah. And then when she also would be near it, she'd go like ah. She looks like a crazy person, and it was very cute, and she's better at finding the nipple now. So now it's just like.
Now it's all business.
It's all business. It's not as fun.
Guys, it's so weird that an instinct like that could be
the sucking instinct.
Person. Yeah.
Well, that's what's crazy is that in the womb, which always sounds like I'm Lindsey Graham, like in the womb, which I hope to never be. Their sucking instinct is really good. Like they develop, that's one of the first things, because otherwise they will die. So like, that's the first thing they develop is knowing how to suck. And you're like, yeah, you're pretty good at that if you could do that, but sleep.
And so sleep, the lack of sleep, that's pretty much been what you expected going into this?
I think so, but also like I wasn't really prepared. I was like, oh, it'll all be great, and I will say I wasn't prepared to look at a small thing and see my eyes. Like she has my eyes, and so I cannot
trust her.
I can't trust her. I know she's lying to me. I know she's judging me. She's lying.
Coming up with snarky jokes.
Come up with a joke.
So funny.
She thinks she's so special. No, but it's mostly because I can't like leave her. It's like, oh man, you got my eyes. Well, now I have to be a mom. Because you're just like, help me, blink, blink. That's the blink. So I think that I don't think parenthood is instant. I don't think you're like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Yay, everything's great. I think it's a process. And so you're like left with this like, who am I, and who was I? And that's definitely been hard.
Yeah.
But again, cute eye.
Very cute. Okay, so looking forward, do you feel different?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like, oh, I'm a mom now. I have all these new responsibilities. I have to think more about the future. Do you feel moment to moment like a different person?
Gotta buy an SUV. Gotta just buy more. Now I like Chardonnay for no reason.
It's Chardonnay all day.
Yeah, Chardonnay all day. It's just like the mommy wine drunk. It's so sad how we just like put that on moms. Just being like, well, your life sucks now. Here's some wine.
As if drinking to excess is a thing specific to moms.
Exactly. Everyone can do that.
Dad, sober.
No, it's what did you say? What was the question?
Like, do you feel changed in a durable way? And there's no right or wrong answer to that, obviously.
Oh yeah, but I think it's dawning on me. Like I think there's a lot that's changing, but you're so, as a new parent, I think you're so in it that you don't even have like time to process. It's just like every day. Like it's honestly like every feed at a time, every hour at a time. You're just kind of barely holding on. So these are a little bit of like dark days, but I'm definitely changed because honestly, arguably, and any parent watching this might be the easiest it's gonna be. Like these are dark days, but she's just gonna get bigger and faster and verbal, and then she's gonna talk back, and there's just gonna be like a whole new series of issues and problems. Also, a new series of like love and good stuff.
Yeah,
I think for sure I'm thinking about like, as a trying to raise someone in this climate, literal and metaphoric, political climate, actual climate. Like, when do we tell our kids about the fact that the planet is dying, right? Like when do we tell them so that they become Greta Thunberg, but like don't hate us? Like become Greta Thunberg, but can smile sometimes.
You should have visible evidence in photos and stuff like that you were trying when they were young. Just have some artifacts of that.
Bro, I'm out at the
sift through the sand and rubble of your home someday.
Yeah, I am. I think that for sure. Like, how will I construct that family life and shape her consciousness, but also not like scare her, but not insulate her. I think that I don't know if I'm going off, but I think the other way I've changed, and for sure during the pregnancy, was I'm more rabidly pro-choice than I ever was, right? Like because I'm in it, and it's such a it's so much work, so much on your body, on your family life, on your pocketbook. Just like, how could you ever push this on someone who didn't want it or wasn't ready for it? I'm reminded of that 16-year-old in, was it Florida, who said she was not mature enough to have a kid and she got pregnant, and then the court was like, well, you're mature enough to say you're not mature enough to say you're not mature enough. You're like, what are you talking? What kind of who's on first like MC Escher painting is this? Like she just said she wasn't mature enough.
Yeah, they said that, if I remember the case correctly, her bad grades in school proved that she wasn't mature enough to opt to have an abortion. But no, mature enough to spend the next couple of decades raising a life.
Absolutely, and you like grow appreciation for the second wave feminist movement, right? Which the feminist movement, in terms of like understanding that their lives were just about marrying and procreating. And this is already a huge tether. It's a tether to your kid, it's a tether to the home, it's a tether to, every 3 hours, you gotta like give your body, if you're nursing or if you can nurse, to another life. It's an incredible amount of unpaid work, unpaid labor. And so, and the feminist movement
should keep a tab.
I mean, honestly, but look, the feminist movement did not, and it got close to in other countries demanding paid labor, like paid housework, paid motherhood effectively. You should compensate people. I mean, and this is beyond whether or not you have a full-time job and you can't have paid, you have paid parental leave if you even have paid parental leave with your job. But like, there's so much just taken for granted labor that's happening right now. And the feminist movement was able to say, hey, we should have the choice to do other things like be in the home. But in some ways, and this is the last thing I'm going on, which is like some of the right-wing women are always like, oh, look, you had second wave feminism and now you're expected to have kids and have a job. And you're like, no, bitch, it was always about a choice and not being forced into one or the other or prevented from one or the other. Yeah. But now they're almost right in saying that like, this needs to be more free of a choice. There needs to be more ability for people to make that choice, to be a parent or to not, economically, socially, all kinds of things.
Yeah, and look, I understand that a lot of people would think, well, obviously the right-wing response to that naturally is going to be, well, what part does the government have to do with any of that? Why should they be paying you for that? But bear in mind, all the right-wingers and the tech billionaires, the weirdos, are all constantly not only saying you shouldn't have a choice if you get pregnant, you should have to have but they're pushing you to get pregnant. Like they're constantly saying, we need more babies, we need more babies. Okay, well then if you are involving yourself in this way, then maybe involve yourself in not just screeds on Fox News, but support so that this is actually financially feasible for people.
I mean, who gave a child tax credit? Biden.
Yeah.
Now they stopped it. The Democrats didn't extend it, which was a big oversight. But that was huge, and that does make an impact. Then Marco Rubio floats his plan to be like, oh, we should have paid parental leave, but then you got to pay it back. We'll take it out of your Social Security. Get the F out of here. Yeah. Are you kidding me? And so again, if it's not healthcare, it's not, like it's another thing. It's not having paid family leave, and then once they get older, not having universal pre-K. I mean, what do you do for the next 3 years before you can put them in kindergarten or preschool? Excuse me, like it's not easy. It's expensive, and depending on where you live. So, but again, one day at a time. Every day is a new adventure.
Exactly. Well, you, at least from what I can see, seem to be doing very well. You're as chipper and positive and optimistic about the future as ever. So we're very glad to have you back. Maybe, off in the future, we can do little updates on this as you continue to learn and all that. But anyway,
none of it was very funny or fun, but I'm working on that for stand-up. So you got to come out and see me live.
I like it. Okay, and everyone out there, thank you as always for supporting us and making this extra content possible. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.